Hey everyone, it is Desiree and we are going to finish up our Sherlock Holmes mystery journal. Now, if you saw, I had done a live on a Sunday and we worked on I showed you how I was doing some of the pockets, with collaging. So this has a lot of collaging going through it. And I've got scraps of paper and some double tags that can be journaled inside. I even took some of just the digital downloads and just cut pockets. It can be as simple as that. Or just take one of the cards, print it a little bit differently. I added a little bit of metal. I love metal through my journals. And just used a corner. And then this is a journal card that I collaged. And since it's white on the back, the recipient will be able to journal in that as well. We have these collage pockets and tucks with pieces coming out to give that resemblance of a file folder. I've got this one large tag with a piece of metal and another tag hanging down. I just took a piece of the scrap paper or the digital print, folded it over. I just love these prints and just paper clipped it into the center of this journal here. So again, you can let those papers do the work for you. Don't have to do much. Here's a plain one. Here's another style tag with a little bit of collage, a journal card. Here I've put this one with a couple tags sticking out the side onto one of the digital prints as the pages. So you can just have fun with it. I used here, these are paper clipped onto the pocket because this is a deep pocket, so nice deep paperwork will be able to fit. But I took one of the digital pieces of ephemera, the chair, and turned that into a pocket by just adding collage papers and scraps from out behind it. So lots of choices here. I did that with the desk. Just added a couple pieces and then this tag. So this is a complete tuck there as well. Now, for some of these pieces that are sticking out, we are going to punch holes in them. I wish I had one in the center, but that's okay. So I know I want to do this one. And we're going to punch a hole in it. And I think I'm going to do that right there. And we are going to put an eyelet in that. And we're going to make some paper charms today. Let's get that set. Yep, that is set. I know I want to do this one here. And okay. And we're going to do the same thing. And I've already chosen my images for the paper charms. Now, for those of you that have been here for a while, you know when it comes to my journals, I love explosions. And I'm going to do this one right here. I just love explosions, and I don't want to say poofs, not explosions, coming out off my tags, off the top, the sides. For this one, it just has a different feel. You know, it's a file folder, and that's what I want it to resemble as. So let's work on our paper charms. So it's not going to have any ribbons within this journal. It's just the metal pieces, and we're going to put paper clips all throughout it. We're just going to add a bunch of those and just have some fun. So I've used a hand punch, and it's 1 3/4 inches. And I've just punched out some circles, making sure that the image that I wanted to use was positioned correctly. And now I just have some heavy cardstock scraps that I use the same punch with. And with the solid cardstock, I punched that 5 times. And it's going to give us a really nice chipboard effect to this disc. Now here I'm just using some of the pattern paper from the kit. Once I have it all together, I press down to get that glue moving, and I'm going to do that to the other ones as well. So we're going to have some nice charms. I love making paper charms. Now you could use, and for me it's quicker with a hand punch. So I like having basic shapes for my hand punches, whether that's circles, squares, or ovals, even scalloped. Because for something like this, it's easier to just hand punch it to get your shape instead of running it through a die cutting machine. However, if you have, nested circle dies, you could certainly use that. I am not encouraging you to buy any hand punches if you have those awesome nested dies. You can get all kinds of different shapes. Usually 1 3/4 inches is about as big as I'll go. I have used a 2-inch circle punch to create a charm. And usually when I do that, it's usually only one charm that's going to have that. Okay, our discs are done, and you can see these are like 1/8 of an inch, so they're nice and sturdy. And I'm going to use a heavyweight, a very strong hole punch, because this will go through this chipboard that we've made very easily. And I'm just going to put a hole on the top of each of these. And we are going to set our eyelet, just as we did before. And then what I'll use to hang these charms are the ball and chain. There we go. And our last one. So no fancy ribbons, no twine. The only twine that we'll have is for our closure. And we will be working on that. So we are going to finish this journal today. These are the small ball and chains that I get. And I get them off of Amazon. And now we are just going to get these hooked in. So you could also use paper clips if you wanted to. You could use twine as well. Just create a little loop if you wanted. And again, you can just have a lot of fun with it. But I do like to add metal, just these metal findings to my journal, whether it's with eyelets, whether it's with paper clips, no matter what that is. And I'm hoping, and see, those will dangle inside the journal because they're going to be closed up in there when it comes to our cover. Now, I'm going to grab a bunch of paper clips and we're just going to put them all throughout the journal. This is a file folder and that's what I want it to resemble. So we clip all kinds of papers in. We don't necessarily, you can take a piece of scrap and just put that in there if you want. But to just have some fun putting these clips throughout, it just gives it a little bit something extra to each of your pieces. And again, I'm going to hit the top of the page. I'm going to look at the side to just give that illusion that we've got all kinds of items clipped within our file folder. Doesn't have to be even, just have fun with it. Have fun placing them around onto your pockets, onto just random pieces of paper. Along the side. And then the recipient can use them any way that they would want to. They can have fun moving them around. And it's just a fun way. And it's another way that they can add their memories into the album. So you just get that hint of gold going down the side, along the top. You can see this has expanded with everything that we've put in here so far, because I do like a chunky journal. And I'm just going to notch each of these sides. I want these to be pockets. I'm not looking for perfection with the center. And then I have these two sheets here. And what I want to do is tear them down. Yes, tear them down. So I'm going to grab this one here. And I'm going to use a ruler. Now you could just tear this all down if you want, and I'm going to use my tear ruler here. And I'm just going to go down around the, what I feel is a straight line, because this is going to get trimmed down more, and it's going to go and sit just on the inside. I want this to come from behind the pocket. So I'm going to set that there, and I'm going to bend that there. And I'm going to bend this here. And now I've got my marks for where I'm going to put my tear ruler. So let's do this one first. And again, we are not here for perfection. We are here for fun. And then we're going to put this one down here as well. Sorry about that. I'm just coming off of a cold. There we go. I'm going to lightly ink. Not too much. I know, you heard me say that, not too much. And then this, we are going to glue just inside here. And we're going to have these beautiful images. I absolutely love these images. Again, I'm not looking for the perfect glue placement. I'm okay if they bend up and have all kinds of fun. I do just want to get there. I love the fact that this journal is very floppy. And now what I'm going to do, let me move these out of my way because I'm going to make them flip, I'm sure. I'm going to add glue to the edge of each of our pockets. And we're going to fold that up and glue those in place. And that's just another area where we will have a place to put our items. And I'm going to do the same thing to the back. So here we go. I'm going to grab my tear ruler. And I know I want, so when I look at my image, I know this is going to sit in here. So I should have put this on the other side, but that's okay. I do like this as well. So we're going to get rid of that edge. And I am going to take this part off here. And now I'm going to make my marks again. So get this set inside. But you know what we could do? And this, so fold the papers. We are going to create a fold because we can. Because I really like this print. Even though the print would have, even if I would have thought to be on the other side, I would have still, and we're actually going to lose that. So we're going to take this off here. And we're going to take this top off here. And we did that crooked, but that's okay. There we go. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down like this. So we can see just the glimpse of it. And I'm going to mark this with a pencil because you're not going to see it. And I'm going to get some glue down on this side just so I can get it into place. And I'm going to line it up along that line. And then I'm going to get my pocket down. So I just put it in far enough so that the notch that we created in the pocket has the papers underneath, because I liked that look. And now what you can actually do is just fold this over and just keep it like that. It's just another flip, and then they can even fold this out even more and put a secret message here. So again, remember, it's about the mystery of our journal, Sherlock Holmes. At least that's what came to mind when it came to, I've got my small eyelets going all over the place. That's what came to my mind when it came to this digital print. Now remember, you've got some great other images that can be cut up and put inside the album. You've got sentiments that can be put in throughout as well. All right, so now let's look at our cover, because there's another piece that we're going to make as well. So here is the cover. I've folded it close to how this was. I don't have as many folds. I didn't do 5. I only did 3, which is all I needed. And I'm going to take these and I'm actually going to clip them into place. And I'm going to use some large paper clips, and we will remove them and keep the paper clips in. So we've got that one there. We've got this one here. I just don't want them flopping around because I don't want any damage. And I don't want them to get in the way. There we go. All right. We are good. So this piece here, I'm going to need my paper creaser. I want to really burnish that down. Get that flat. This is going to be our flap that comes up and over on our journal. Just like that. Okay? So you can see you've got that gap there, which is good because then that means this will expand just a little bit. And I'm going to attach this halfway down when it comes to this fold on the pocket. So that's my gauge. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to that gauge. Now, because I'm not sewing this on, because you do not always have to sew. Nope. I am going to use my 2-inch tape. Now, I'm going to cut it because it's going to be less than 2 inches. So, I'm going to grab my scissors, and I just want to do some thin strips like this, and I'm going to put them close to the edge because I really want that edge to stay down. And I'm going to put this one here. So just along that edge. And then we're going to cut one more and then cut it in half. Okay. Going to measure my back pocket because I just want to get an idea of what size that pocket is, and it's about a 2 1/8. So I'm going to go in 1 inch. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark 1 inch. And then I'm going to connect these lines. And that is going to tell me that's where the glue needs to go. Because again, no one's going to see that part. So I'm going to remove my release paper. Very strong glue. It is my favorite glue for anything paper crafting. When I know I want something to stay in its place and not move at all, this is it. And then I'm just going to go down that line. And this is PVA glue. And then I am going to come up over the tape because that's going to give me a little bit of wiggle room so that I can get this set and lined up. I'm going to take this to the back, bring this over, and then just line this up. And make sure it's at the top and the bottom. Make sure that line's going there, and then I'm going to press. And once you press, you are committing. You are absolutely committing to where this is going to go. It's okay that we've got glue oozing out. I wanted to make sure I had enough there. And I'm even going to use the bone fold. And you can still see by me pressing that down, we've got more glue coming out with that. So now our back is secured. And it's even, it's straight. It's awesome. Alrighty. Now, for this, we're going to work on our closure. And I've already taken care of that as well. More circles, absolutely. And I'm going to grab a couple brads. And on the top circle, so I have 1 inch hand punch and a 1/2 inch hand punch. So, and I have 3 for each of them for the black cardstock. Again, it's heavyweight cardstock, and I'm missing one. At least, no, I'm not. So 5 for each, and I'm going to get these all lined up. This is going to be what's underneath so that our twine can wrap around. Now, you could also use leftover packaging, pattern paper scraps. These are the scraps that I have. These scraps come from when I build my albums and my pages for my scrapbook albums. So this is how I use them up. If you've got an old Scrabble game and you've got these extra pieces, they're perfect to go under the a larger size disc. Because again, it just gives you that ability to lift it up so that you can wrap around. So that's how I make my discs. And then I've got 2 of these. So for 2 of them, I'm going to put them on my foam. And I'm going to get my pokey tool. And I'm just going to eyeball the center. I'm going to put a hole. And we're going to put our brad through this one. And we're going to get that set. And I just like to push down so that it goes flat. And then I try to make sure that it stays in the center, but I'm okay if it's not. It's totally, totally okay. I think those little things are the way to give your journal its charm. Okay. So now that these two are set, I'm going to take another piece of our double-sided tape, and I'm going to cut it in half. Because again, this is very strong. Now it's going to be bigger, and that's okay. But it's really going to go around this brad and just hold it in place. And then we can either trim it, or what I'm going to do is find this area to release it. And then I'm just going to fold up these corners. It's going to really get it to the edge. And then we place it on top of the other disc. I wrap my fingers around, and then I'm going to press. See, very sticky. And by cupping my fingers around, it kind of lines it up. Or I should say, it does. Okay. Of course, we're going to ink around these with some vintage photo. I'm going to put glue on one of my discs. And then I'm going to set it in the center of these pieces. Now, it doesn't have to be 1 inch to 1/2 inch. It could be 1 inch, you know, or it could be 1.5 inches to 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be as close to the edge at which I have them. But I do want to make sure I have my twine right now. And here's our twine. And I'm just going to cut a length. I do cut more than what I need, and that's okay. And I'm going to put this in here. And I have that little spare piece. And I'm going to tape the end of my twine in there because I'm impatient and I don't want to wait for the glue to dry. Just saying. I am just saying. I'll put glue on this. And then we're going to place that down in there. Gonna flip that over and just press. And now I can continue to work while all of these are getting set with the glue. Okay. I'm pushing things out of my way. Oh, if you all ever saw the outside of the viewing screen. Yes. All right, now. So for this, I want to put this one like right about here, I think. Yeah. well, maybe right there. So I'm going to real quick put a mark there. And again, I'm just eyeballing the center. I mean, I'm not, you know, going crazy. Is this centered or anything like that? I'll put some glue down, and then I'm going to get this one set into place. And I'm just going to spin it just a little bit. That helps to get the glue to hold on. And then for this one, I'm just going to line it up, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab my pencil, and I want this one to sit right about here. So I'm just going to put a mark there, which I can barely see. I can see that a little bit more. And we're going to put glue on that. And I want the tail of my twine to actually go that way. So I'm going to just pull this up. And by doing that, I'm getting up underneath that other circle closure that we have. And that's how I'll line them up. That mark just gave me an idea. Okay, this is where this needs to go. And I'm just going to push so that now when we close it, you can certainly use a thicker twine. You know, again, whatever you have. Now, if you wanted to use a ribbon for this, you could certainly do that as well. Again, totally your choice. But that is our closure and what makes our journal look like a file folder. Now, I am going to trim this, and I do save it. And I'm going to hold right there. I do want to make a small charm for this, and I just want to use some of the pattern papers, the spares that I have, and they're down here. Let's see. Let's look at what we have left. I think I know the one that I want. I don't know if I have any of it left. As you can see, these are the pieces that I have left. I would use one of these faces, but they are just too big. Oh, this looks cool. Okay, let's use this. So how do we make a charm, so to speak, on this? And I'm going to use these papers and this, because this is really thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this glued down. And then I'm going to trim. I'm just going to literally trim right along the piece. So when you have these odd shapes, but when they're basic shapes, you can glue them down onto heavy cardstock. And I'm going to do that one more time. And I'm going to put it right up on the edge. And we're going to cut it again. And as you're building that, you're just setting your scissors right up against that edge. Now, what I also want to do is I want to take this and not glue it. I just want to cut it because I want one of those pieces for the backing. And we have that now. So that'll be our back of our piece. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this work. Unless I have another piece. Another heavy piece. Oh, I do. I do. So we're going to take this. And I'm just going to match up those corners. So now I have our two pieces. So when I put them together, it's perfect. I'm going to put a little bit of glue, or I should say a lot of glue. And I'm going to set my string right down on this. Roll it around in there. And then we're going to grab this and we're going to place that right on top. And then just use our fingers to line it up and press down. I am going to put a clip on this because I want to make sure I've got good contact. So I'm going to use one of these and just really press that down for right now. So always save your scraps. You never know when you're going to go back into them, use them as a background or anything like that. When we come back, I'm going to do some stamping on our file folder. I'm going to show you the back and I will reveal the name of our journal. See you soon. We are back and we're going to finish our cover. I have some pieces that I'm going to be using. I have the name and my branding up there. We've got this set. I also released the charms inside and you can see how we have it intertwined. And I put one of the gold clips here to just hold this down so it's not like flopping all over the place because, yeah, that was starting to get on my nerves. Added another gold paper clip out here and back here. And again, I really like the look. This will, when you push this in, this will unravel. So you can really ravel it tightly. Or you could set it back here just a little bit more, and then that would stop it from popping up as well. But I'm okay with that. Again, when it sits on a shelf like that, the weight is going to pull it out so that it holds it in place. And we have room because you can push this down, get that up in there and make it tighter. So just know those little bits of what you can do. It's a closure. It's, it's not a permanent one. It's not, whatever it could be. It's just a closure. Now I've pulled in some of my stamps. I wanted a specific terms to be stamped out on here. And I'm just going to be pulling some of these. And then I also have these. These are by Prima. I believe you can still get them. I don't know. I think I got mine from Amazon. So I'm going to spell out case file and make sure that's sitting there. And then I have my other ones. These blocks are great. And then I have file and I'm going to stamp that there as well. And I want to use red ink. So I'm going to pull in my barn door archival. And I am going to loosen this up because the case file I do want to have flat. So I'm going to take the journal, open her up, and lay her down like this. Now, remember, this is your top, so it's a good thing that I have these up here. All right, so when this is the top, I want case file going this way. So I am going to ink this up. And I'm going to flatten that, and I'm just going to stamp that. It's in red. It's not really bright and vibrant, but I do like the way that it looks. For the back, I do know how my pieces are going to go, so I think I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp this like this. I do like to rock these back and forth because if there are ink around the edges, I just think that's cool as well. I have my small one up here that says file. So we're going to just stamp that there. We'll stamp this down here. I'm going to have that there. And I'm going to grab this collect. I think that is pretty cool. And I think I'm going to do that in my blue archival. And I think it is, yes, it is Mermaid Lagoon. And I'm going to put this right up here. And I'm going to put it down here. Just to give it some interest in the background. Nothing too fancy. And then the last one I want to grab, you can use numbers. I love this for skill and amusement only. I think it is perfect. And that one I'm going to do in black archival because I do want this to stand out as much as possible. Gonna get that inked up. And I am going to put this right here. Yes. So I have that there, and I'm going to put one of each of these on the inside and the back cover. And we're going to put those on the pocket. And I'm really pressing down because of the brads. The brads are just, you know, they're kind of setting off those pieces. But if it's not a perfect stamp, it's okay. Because again, that just adds to the fun, to the uniqueness of the journal. All right, so now we've got the insides done. Now let's work here. We can see our charms are dangling. You've got those in there and they'll stay nice and tight in here. You can even tuck them when you go to close your journal if you want, just like that. And you can see I can take this and I can put it up right up underneath that and just really keep crossing around. And then when I come down, I'm going to hook it right into that paper clip. And now I know that this is well secured. All right. So now let's put our pieces of ephemera on our cover. These are actually the cover of one of the digital collections, and I fell in love with it. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to cut this up. This is cool. You're probably seeing that I'm covering up some of the stamping, and that is okay. It's just a background. It's like if you use a stencil or something like that. It just gives this illusion of something in the background. I'm going to put this strip here. And that's our cover. That's all I want to do to this. I don't want to take away from the file folder look. I don't want to lose that. I'm going to, now I'll lose this stamping here, it looks like, but that's okay. And I'm going to put that there. And then we've got this great big piece, and I'm just going to set that, not like that. Yep, lifting her up. I needed to set this down first. Sorry for the scratching. And we're gonna set this here. And I'm putting this right next to that lip where we added our hinge to wrap around for the closure. And we're going to put this right back in place. We're going to put our paper clip along there. All right. And here I have my branding stamp. And I always use a platinum when it comes to my stamp. That is going to sit right along the bottom. And I use my double-sided tape for that. And a little bit of glue. And yep, added more metal. And then I have our name, and this journal is going to be called Mysteries. And I'm going to tuck that right into there. And again, taking off. I'm not going to use any glue on this one. And we're going to tuck that right in there so we don't lose the M. And that's going to go straight up. So my little niche or my branding when it comes to my journals or my albums is definitely this stamp here. And I layer it up. Sometimes I'll add the brads. This time I chose to. And then I always take a scrap piece of craft and I do the uppercase, lowercase letters, do that also in platinum, and then that also gets the brads as well. So that is just how I do all of that fun stuff. That is our journal. Now, before I go through this, there's one more thing that I want to make. And it just brought back some memories when I did, I don't know if you saw when I did Creep on June, but I'm going to make a folder that has a map on it. And this is one of the digital prints in the kit. All right, so that is ready. Now I'm going to bring in my soft brush, pick up some ink, and I just want to push that color back a little bit. Just tone it down, make it look aged. And then I have a piece of craft cardstock, and I'm going to make a horrible sound. I'm going to crinkle this. First, though, I want to spray it. And I'm going to spray it with some water on both sides, just lightly. You do not need to give it a bath, and then I'm going to crumble it. And then I'm going to carefully unfold it. I'm okay if some rips come in, but I do want them to be on the side. I'm going to flatten this out. And I am going to bring in my, if I can reach it, paper distresser, just into some areas. Like that. I want that to happen. So just, you know, in the corners. And I'm just really pushing in and just scraping. This is also a thread cutter. So if you can't find this anymore, it's called a paper distresser, but you can use a thread cutter as well. They're metal. You can, now you'll pay a little more, but you can find them like in quilt shops or those types of places. I'm going to take this and I'm going to layer this in here. And I'm going to use a combination of heavy-duty tape and glue. All right, and we're just going to add glue along the top and along the edges, bottom, and we're going to get this down onto this crinkle piece. Going to use my palm, really push that down. Now, we need a bar that, you know, looks like it's a fastener or something like that. Now, you can certainly, because I am going to fold this up like this. And then I'm going to fold it down. You can certainly just add twine around it if you want, but it looks like an old map for a case. But to add just that little bit extra of metal, I am going to take, first, I'm going to take this and I'm going to scratch it along this. Just to give it some wear. Now remember, it's distressing, so if you get it wet, yeah, it's all over your hands, which it's all over mine now, which is okay. And I think I'm going to use this actually. I'm going to cut a strip And then I'm going to grab my black, if I can find it. I know I had a piece of scrap black. No, you know what I'm going to use? I am going to use a piece of a file folder. Then we'll have that green going along it. We're going to glue that down. Eyeball the cut, and we're going to fold this in half. And we're going to try to do that again, but make sure it's straight. Because I don't mind what's on the other side. There we go. Smooth that down. We're going to poke 2 holes, because if I have an opportunity for metal, we must add it. And I think I'm going to go with the smaller ones. There we go. We're going to press down, get them flat. Open that up. And yep, you guessed it. More of our tape. Now, is that wider? No, it is not. So that's a good thing. I'm going to let that get cut, because I do want to ink around that edge. And I actually am going to come in with my scorched timber. It's a little darker. You could also use black soot. You could use your archival. And I'm going to remove this. I'm going to bend this. And I want the London to show up there. I'm going to take this, just eyeball the top along the crease. And down she goes. And there you go. Now it looks like it's clipped, but we don't have the clips on the back side. I didn't want the brads to show on the other side. And then there we go. And I'm going to put this right on top. I thought it was a good picture for the top showing the city. And I'm just burnishing that into all those crevices. And there you go. We have a makeshift map for our journal. The recipient can journal on this side. They could add paper. They could journal on this. So that's the beauty of these pieces when we create them and add them into our journal. I'm going to open this up. And I'm just going to put this in the back. I'm going to tuck that away. And I'm going to put it on our clip. I'll fold that down. That there. And put that right there. So now we have our case mat. Right, and that is our journal. We have completed the Mysteries journal, and that is her name. As I said, whenever I do a journal or I do a scrapbook album or an album of any type, I do give it a name of some sort. And no two are ever duplicated. I do keep a list to make sure. But as we page through, you can see we have all of these beautiful papers. These are from the digital collection from Relatively Thoughtful. I will have her shop in the UK. She's in the UK, but I will have her shop listed below. But check out the digital collections. They are a great way to make a journal, to make an album, to use in cards. And that's going to be our next project. I show you how you could use a digital. If you have access to a printer, then this could be very cost effective. When you buy a digital, you have it for life, and you can make it and turn it into your art and use pieces of it and resize it and just have fun with it. We have our journal cards. We have our medals throughout. We have our collage pockets. Really felt collage on all of these. So when you put something in there, it's got to be a little bit bigger, but that collage is just going to fold right over it. And I really like that look. We have a tag here with a piece of metal to it, another pocket. We've got paper clips going all throughout, coffee dyed papers, the digital papers from the one kit. This is a 3-part digital kit. Here, I just took a piece of the pattern paper and doubled it. So I had 2 on 1 page printed. But this is great. I just folded it over the side, clipped it with a paper clip or a clip of some sort, and it could be a place for a hidden message. We've got just regular pockets using the pattern paper again, the digital pattern paper. You don't have to do collage. You don't have to do all of the fancy stuff. But it's great. It's got 3 signatures to it. Lots of fun scraps were used, but the main focal point is that digital collection. I just loved the theme. I loved the look of it. It just brought back some memories. Our closure here, we just do the figure 8. Of course, I struggle with this. And as we continue around, once we come up, we've got a paper clip there, and we can just clip it in there so it's not flippity flop. And we can pull that up so that it sits right there. We've got our Sherlock Holmes for skill and amusement only. I love that. We used a file folder to create a file folder journal. And I didn't know if this was going to work, guys. You guys get to see if something works or not. I don't try, when it comes to journals, I don't plan them out. I'm like, let's just start filming and see where we go. And I am really, really pleased with this. If anyone is interested in this, this will be listed on my website. If you are interested in there, I do apologize. I only ship in the States. And that's because I cringe when I see the costs. So I just can't charge that, but I would have to. So if you are interested, this will be linked at the time of this video up on my website. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I gave you some inspiration to create your journal and create the cover you want. You know, just have fun with it. Enjoy that process. And this can be filled with your own mysteries. The digital collection that I used and the shop Relatively Thoughtful will be linked down below if you want to check them out. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well. And I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. I'd love for you to subscribe. So make sure you hit that button, hit the thumbs up, and make sure you ring the bell for notifications so that you know when the next video is ready. I hope you'll stay tuned. There's lots of surprises and changes coming here onto this channel. So stay tuned for those announcements. I'm getting them together, absolutely. But most of all, just enjoy creating your art. Enjoy the process. Have fun with it. It's okay if you get some ink on your fingers, it can wash right off. If you don't like getting ink on your fingers, gloves are a perfect way. But just try new things. Don't give up. Keep going. Remember, paper has two sides to it. It is the best medium that we have out there to work with. But always remember what's still most important to me, going on 8 years now. Always be creative in everything that you do every day. Continue to stay safe and healthy. And I will talk to you in the next one. Till then, take care.